Paranormal.
That was quick. I'm still not used to the new intro, everybody. So, okay, welcome to episode 2 of The Trainwreck. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So, okay, so if you guys watched episode 1, we had a different sort of intro. And so now episode 2, we've tweaked it a little bit. So episode 3, we're going to put our last product out. Go back and look, and you guys tell us what you think. I'm not going to pick what you think because it's way too much work, but it just sounds really sweet and I get comments. Kidding. Love you guys. How are you, Jen?
I'm good. Enjoying my lawn chair. How are you?
I'm pulling up the old lazy boy because, I don't sell a couch and then not have a replacement. It's not how I roll.
I'm a little neurotic though. My old to me couch and my new to me couch could not be coordinated because I was very hello.
That's my beautiful wife. Hi, baby.
Oh, yeah. A special thanks to our VIP viewer there. I'm too neurotic. I'm always afraid the person coming to get my old to me couch isn't going to show up and pay me.
Fair.
So I'm like, no. Now just enjoying some folding lawn chairs in my living room for a couple days.
Well, but lawn chairs, I like lawn chairs. I'm okay with that because, they can hold your drink and then you can pull your cooler out and then you don't even have to go to the refrigerator. And then you could say, I'm camping in a haunted location and you could completely get away with it and probably get it off on your taxes.
Probably could because my house is haunted. So,
You're welcome.
I wouldn't be lying either.
So we have an amazing guest. First things first, I have never met a mustache that I like quite as much as this man's. This man has amazing. I have to. I work hard on the facial hair, and it takes a certain breed of individual to look as sophisticated with a mustache. I can't pull it off, but can we? Let's tell the audience a little bit about our guest and what they do.
So hang on. I must get the old lady eyeglasses on.
I'll slow that down and then we'll have time to. I'm old too. We'll have time to do stuff.
So we have Richard Lael Lillard. He's known as the Gentleman Psychic. He's well known for appearances on Ghost Adventures, Jubilee Media, Anthony Padilla's podcast. He also has been featured on numerous non-paranormal television shows and films, including the Oscar-nominated film Tangerine, and featured on America's Next Top Model. I think it's the mustache and the hair for sure. Richard Lael has traveled extensively and is an aficionado of all things related to the 19th century. As a paranormal investigator, he approaches the spirit world with the same gentle nature as he does with those on this side of the veil. Where he does have a website, he is most active on social media. So that is our interesting guest for this evening.
Let me just quickly run through because, wow, episode 2, and I'm having trouble keeping up with the chats, everybody. So I've seen some new names and some old names I've seen before. Joanne Stewart, hello from Canada. I think it's been a while, Joanne, but you're still my Canada friend, right?
Canuck,
Canada. You know how she told me how to spell Canada. I'll do it real quick. CANADA. Sorry, Canadian joke. Let's see who else. Tabitha Meadows, thank you for tuning in.
Now I know Miss Tabitha. She had suggested our guest for this evening. And great minds think alike, my dear, because I had already reached out to him right before I posted. And so thank you. I'm so glad.
Thank you, Margaret. Love you so much. You know what? I think we've done enough of the fluff, as they say in the biz. I'm ready to get down to the meat and potatoes. Let's go ahead and all hail Richard Lael.
Hello. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello. How are you doing?
Pleasure.
I am so well. Thank you so much for having me. How are
So,
you? You're doing well?
yeah, I think everything is well on my end, except for it's 20 degrees outside. I think
Which
maybe
is
you guys
20
are
degrees
faring
too warm for me.
fair. You enjoy being cold. I understand. I like that. Oh. But Jen, how are you? I know that the Panthers almost beat you guys. So how's the weather there?
Oh, wrong team. Yeah, for the Saints, yes. And it's Richard Lale and I are enjoying a balmy 40 some degrees, which I'm a sweater girl, so I'm kind of digging it. I grew up in Wisconsin and my Packers lost, and that was really a bummer. But they didn't look good today. So, but I'm
Well, I'm
enjoying it. I'm with you, Richard Lale. I'm a sweater girl. I like cold, I like hats and mittens and blankets and
It's so fabulous to wear layers and layers and layers of clothing. I do it anyway, but it makes it so much more comfortable when,
yeah.
when it's chilly outside.
fair. Well, yeah, well played.
And you don't look
Because
as
it,
suspicious.
Right? It's true. I
okay,
mean, not that
so
I care what you think about anyway.
from one gentleman to another, it's hard to look dapper without layers.
That
So,
is true.
what is your perfect layer count?
Oh, goodness. I have to count. So, um, starting with the socks and garters, like literal garters, with the
Fair, right?
and then the shirt stays and the underpants, and then the shirt front, and then the collar, and then the cuffs, and then the trousers, and then the braces, and then the waistcoat, and then the cravat, and then the frock coat, and then the overcoat, and then the gloves, and then the top hat. Oh, and I forgot the button boots. And anyway, I don't
Yeah,
know.
Crap, we should
it's
have counted. I forgot.
I forgot to count
you
too.
know, yeah, it's quite a lot. But you, my friend, pull it off amazingly. And I never let them see you sweat, I guess, is your motto, because I mean, you're doing amazing things.
Thank you. Well, I never seem to perspire. I mean, unless I'm really, unless I'm at the gym, which has been avoided lately, like the plague. Um,
Right.
but I do not. I never let them see me perspire on either side of the veil, so to speak.
No.
And that was an amazing segue, Jen. I'm going to give it over to you for the other side of the veil. Let's start there.
So, tell us about your experience in your paranormal investigations. Where have you been? What's your favorite place?
Sure. Well, I have been into several places. Everywhere I go is haunted because I'm haunted, and so I act as a beacon. So have my family for generations on end. It just has been. Um, when I was younger, my parents lived in a little small town in Missouri, and the house was haunted. They were dealing with things all the time, so they moved, and they found that this lovely little house in another little place in the middle of nowhere. And there was an old cabin built in about 1900, and then it was added on, and then in the 70s it was sort of expanded into a ranch house. Then my parents bought it and they added on to it, and even still that place was haunted as well. We would hear people walking upstairs and there would be nobody upstairs, like there just wouldn't be. We would see,
Right.
I remember I was about 13, 14, and I had made the mistake of saying to the spirit world, whoever wants to talk, whoever wants to speak, show me, show me, show me. Just I welcome whatever, whoever is there. And then we started experiencing things in the house, like the activity was even more pronounced. And at one point, my parents would, they'd gone away to church, and I kept seeing this figure of this man. We know him as the Hat Man now, but the shadow figure run from the kitchen through the dining room into the hallway. And it was like, and I would see it, especially when I was alone. And I thought, am I going crazy? Am I crazy? This is crazy, right? And then we were driving along in the car, and my mother got this weird look on her face. I was seated in the back, and I could see her in the rearview mirror. My father was driving, or maybe she had the visor down, whatever. I could see her in the mirror. She had a weird look, and she said, there's someone in our house that is not in our house. And I keep seeing this man with a big hat run from the kitchen through the dining room into the hallway. And I went, because I didn't want to know that I had been beckoning spirits to come in. So I moved away, lived in Las Vegas, which, by the way, Las Vegas is incredibly haunted. And then I spent a year abroad, and then I was in San Francisco, and then I was in Los Angeles for a decade, and then I was in New York, and now I'm here in New Orleans. But in all of this, I've been on Ghost Adventures, and then because I was on Ghost Adventures, I was invited to Virginia City to a paranormal convention at Virginia City, Nevada. And talk about haunted. This place is haunted. This place was really haunted. And Patty Negri and we had a couple of friends with us. We were exploring the Old Washoe Club. And, we were dealing with a lot of other novices and people who were sort of getting into it, but we were obviously old pros. And I remember we walked into the ballroom, and there were a couple of young ladies who had on their phone, they were playing Frank Sinatra, "I Did It My Way," in this 1870s ballroom. They're playing "I Did It My Way," and they're asking, "How did you die? How did you die?" I looked at Patty, she looked at me, and we were like, "Okay, let's just let them have their little space. Let them have their fun." So we go into one of the front rooms, and I start singing. Now, that there is something about singing, no matter who you are, where you are, what generation. It could be a millennia ago. Whenever we had grunts and we were just figuring out the vocalizations to the whatever we morph into in the next millennia, whatever it may be. So singing is a way to trigger the spirits. So I walk into this room and I start singing Big Spender from Sweet Charity. Now, by the way, I know that's 1969, but they are dancing girls. And in the 1870s, they would have known the same thing as it was in the 1970s. Dancing girls did not mean dancing girls. So I'm singing "The Minute You Walked in the Joint," all of this. And Patty pulls out the voice box with the sounds, and there start becoming, over the voice box, there start coming sounds of ecstasy, male and female, and they're saying things that I would not repeat in a family show. And I went, "Okay, well, that was okay. Well, we'll let you have it. You do what you do. I'm sorry I interrupted." And I said, "Well, okay, so we'll go off in here. We'll go into the next room." And we're in the dark, by the way. We're in the absolute dark. And I walk in, and as sure as I'm saying you, standing in the middle of this large room, I see this beautiful woman in an 1870s, 1880s blue ball gown. She's got dark hair, and she's standing in the middle of the room, and she's going like this. And then she looks at me, and then she looks down at this thing next to me, and then she looks at me, and she looks down, and I went, "What are you trying to show me?" So I follow her gaze, and I look down next to me, and I with my physical eyes, I see boots, and I see legs, and I feel no humanity whatsoever, just a void. And I went, "No, no, 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 I'm done. No." And I walk out, and then I went, "Okay, Richard Lale, you are well known in the paranormal world. You have encountered things that people call demonic energies. Really, what is this? Why are you being so chicken?" So I turned the torch on my phone, I turned on the light, and I walked in, and I looked down, and I see boots, and I see legs, and I see hands, and I bring that phone right up, and it is a mannequin dressed like Willie Nelson.
No.
And I would not have seen it had it not been for that woman from 100 years ago, 150 years ago, being like, what are you going to do about him? What is that? So the Old Washoe Club remains one of my most favorite places to have investigated. Was it the worst energies I've ever felt? No, of course not. But
Right.
you know, I completely understood. I understand dancing girls. I get it. Get that money, honey. That's what I say. Get that money.
You wonder if the girl was sizing the mannequin up to see how much money she thought he had based on
Right? Well, and apparently he didn't have too much money because he was wearing dirty old boots and denim blue jeans and like a 1960s leather fringed vest, which whoever dressed the mannequin, whoever dressed them, but they had braids, you know. So I'm sure she was like, "Who is that?" And then when I walked in and I am wearing my button boots and my cravat and my gloves and my top hat, for her, she was like, "Oh yes, I know. This I understand. This I don't understand."
Right. That makes sense.
Right? Well, and I feel like with people always say, well, you know, why are ghosts always Victorian ghosts? Well, they're not. I've seen ghosts that are more modern ghosts. I've seen ghosts with mobile phones. I have absolutely seen those things. But in my own mind, I am a modern Victorian, and I do see I translate things more into the 19th century way that people would have translated it then.
Gotcha.
So,
And I like the way that you say that, because technically it's all energy and it's just going to interact with you in a way that you understand.
Exactly.
So who's to say that there's not a ghost of a dinosaur? Let's just be silly with it, right? I mean, of course it is, but are you going to recognize if a dinosaur walked up? No, you're not. It's
I have
all
a
pure
I have a
energy.
dinosaur story to tell you too.
Oh no. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Is it a
yes,
ghost of a
please.
dinosaur? Maybe not. So as a psychic medium, I used to be a psychic small, by the way, but I gained some weight. Thanks, New Orleans.
Fair play. Fair.
So the way that I work is different than all of the other psychics who are all doom and gloom or love and light. I'm a happy medium, but again, I used to be a psychic and a small. That being said, whenever I go into a reading, whenever I go into a session, I will have the person to calmly breathe in through the nose, hold it, exhale out of the mouth and hold it, 4-point breathing. And then it helps them to clear their mind. It helps me to clear my mind. It helps us to sort of breathe in sync. And then I get images in my mind, and they are feelings, colors, pop culture references sometimes, words, sounds, emotions. And I say what I see. Sometimes it's a metaphor. Sometimes it is literal. And I looked across the table at this woman. She and her husband were in a session with me. I look across the table at this woman and I said, I see a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And in my mind, I didn't know if this meant that she was going extinct or she just had short little arms. I didn't know. And her jaw hit the floor. Her husband did this triple take, like, what? And I said, I have no idea what that means, but clearly that means something to you, whatever that may be. And she leaned in and said, that is the tattoo on the back of my leg.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So sometimes there might be a ghost of a dinosaur. And really, when you think about the way that time is sliced, we see it sort of as this linear thing out in front of us and a linear thing behind us. But if we were riding a tricycle, carrying a Subway sandwich through outer space, and an alien in a rocket ship with a lightsaber comes through and he's going to slice this sandwich in even slices, his slices are going to be even from his perspective. So he will slice it and slice it and slice it. But that may mean that his slice of time is me and the dinosaur. because it's his sort of perspective. Now, we're slicing it this way, but he's slicing it this way. Both of them are correct. So is it possible that we do see dinosaurs roaming through? Absolutely. Why not?
Absolutely.
I like it. I like that. So I'm just saying. Sorry. I had a story about a dinosaur, but that was that is not for children or family shows. I had to stop it because it was back when I was in the Marine Corps. So I was going to say it, but I'm going to be.
Well, maybe you could tell me afterwards because now I'm intrigued.
That will be a conversation for a later date. 100%. So,
and Jennifer, it looked like you were going to say something. I'm sorry, we didn't.
Oh no, it's interesting. I just a few years ago figured out I had abilities too, and you go like you were saying, you have light and dark, and the way mediums and people with gifts operate. The people that I was working with to figure out what I could do, it was always, okay, what do you see? Ask them what their hair color is, their eye color, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't like that. And so, because it's so, what's the dominant gene in the room, right? And so I started asking them for food memories because I used to be a chef, I'm into food, and everyone has something personal or an experience, especially on the holidays, right? About something that involved food in their world. And so it's very interesting you say that. It works well. Cause I mean, how do you tell someone your great aunt baked peanut butter cookies without sugar in, and your uncle is spitting them out? I mean, that's pretty specific.
It is incredibly specific. And it's a great way because it is how you interpret yourself. And that's why I tell people, listen, when I see these people, I don't know. I interpret things in a Victorian 19th century aspect because that is my one thing that I love. It does not mean that they themselves see it that way. I am playing Pictionary with the universe.
Okay.
I play Pictionary.
Interesting.
So I have a question that originally came from my wife, and it was a great question. So I've decided to use it in all the podcasts whenever I speak with a psychic or psychic medium or however. If you have what my wife likes to call a baby psychic, and they are out and about, and they just get that, you need to tell this person in front of you to do so. How does one react to that without first scaring the person? What does somebody who is just coming into their abilities, like, how would that work?
Well, this is my advice. I tell people to say what they see regardless. It doesn't matter if people think you're crazy. Say what you see. And if they think you're crazy, let them think you're crazy. But sometimes there are things that you do not need to tell people. Sometimes, as opposed to some of the psychic mediums that we see on television who will walk into a supermarket and say, oh, did you have someone who's dead? Is it your grandmother, father, uncle, Jay? No, I mean, sometimes you don't need to tell somebody everything, but sometimes if I sort of approach it of, if the person asks me, what do you think about, what do you feel about, how do you know, that is when I will say, well, this is what I see. And I say it boldly, and no matter how weird or silly it may sound, I say it. But I refrain from going to people in a supermarket or on the street because, quite frankly, between you, me, and the spirits, it's not my business. It's just not my business.
Right.
And I link even spiritualism people ask you all the time to do things in real life. Oh, go do this, or give me some money, or whatever it may be. And you can say no. It's a complete sentence. And there's nothing wrong with setting those boundaries. It's no, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not going to do that. So it's okay to say no. And in the spirit world, it's no different. If you had a party, I would hope that you wouldn't just open your doors to anyone on the street and say, hey, everybody, come on in. My silver is in here. My jewelry is in here. My electronics are in here. Oh, by the way, here's a stack of cash. You wouldn't just do that. You would invite, well, this is my friend, and this is my friend, and these are my friends, and these are people that I know, and I welcome people that are in this sort of set. And that sort of is the way that I would do it. So I have gotten it to the point now where the spirits will not ask me to just tell somebody to do something or to because they know that
right,
it's not my business.
Right. And the situations too, we had spirits that came to us a few days after they were tragically killed. And I mean, we had to just say, after we figured out who they were, just say, listen, if you think we're going to hunt your families down and tell them you're here, whatever you're saying, you've lost your mind.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that. Now we'll record question and answer sessions with you. We'll save them under your name. And if you can figure out how to get your living people here and ask for us, or want to hear, or somehow come to us and saying, my loved one died this way. I was hoping to maybe contact them, then okay, we'll pull them aside after whatever they're doing with us personally and say this. But yeah, I get it. The dead seem to sometimes don't have any boundaries.
Well, and it kind of goes to the point, you and I live in New Orleans. I lived in Los Angeles. I've lived in New York. I lived in London. I lived in Greece. The homeless situation, there are people who are unfortunate, and however they got there, they got there. But I would walk these streets and I would witness people. And sometimes, when they start off, they start by asking, or they start by, by being desperate of like, I need. And then they get rejected so frequently, so often, and they get dehumanized that they began acting crazy, because any amount of energy is better than no energy. And so when I lived in Hollywood, there was a woman she went by Cornbread is her name. And I link this back to how the spirits interact. So she would be screaming on the street corner at nobody, screaming. And I said to someone one day, I said, ooh, she's really weird. And they said, well, that's Cornbread. She's harmless, but she just needs attention right now. So I felt sort of checked. And I said, one day I saw her screaming on the street, and I said to her, Cornbread, why are you acting like that? And then she smiled and she winked at me. And then through the course of the time that I got to know her, I worked in Hollywood. And through the course of time, I had a classic, fabulous old car. And I would buy her lunch and I would buy her food. And one day I pulled up in my classic car and I said to her, Cornbread, are you hungry? And she said, oh, I really am. And I said, well, why don't you get in my car and I will take you wherever you want to go and we'll go dine together. And she wanted Steak and Shake or Steak and Outback Steakhouse, something, whatever it was. So I said, okay, well, let's go. And I took her, and she sat there and she ate, and she was welcomed and she was greeted and she felt human. And before long, I didn't see her on the street anymore. And I said, what happened to Cornbread? And I had heard that she had gotten her life straight, and that she had gotten a small, tiny apartment and became the building manager.
Wow. Aw.
And in the spirit world, it's the same way. Especially the recently deceased or the recently impoverished. I need help.
Yeah.
And then the more that they get ignored, the more that they get abused or pushed away, then the more frantic and crazy they seem.
Mm-hmm.
And it is that amount of humanity of, listen, I will help you when I can. I can't promise you that I will be ready for you 24 hours a day. I'm not that kind of a person, but I have a moment. I have 30 seconds. And whether you're alive or dead, I have this. I can't give you everything, but I can acknowledge your existence. And that's oftentimes what living or dead spirits are wanting, is just acknowledgement.
Yeah, for sure. And setting boundaries. I say this is living people time for me, but I'll give you 10 minutes and I'll let you know. And then you can tell me what you need to tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I've had people tell me that, they set the boundary with the spirits. Once I step over the threshold of my bedroom door, I'm done. And they said, they were able to sleep at night. And boundaries is like, it's just as healthy in the spirit world, like you keep saying, as it is for us. And, I think once people learn that, the scariness of why is this spirit screaming? Well, maybe because nobody's listened to it in 150 years. Instead of, oh, this is a demon. Probably not. No. It's scary. It's terrifying. I'm human like the next person. I can talk myself into being scared just like everybody else. But if you can just take a second, get out and go like, okay, did I feel like I was in harm, or was it like an urgent message? And then you can go back with a clear head. And then if it's still, then deal with it there. But, it's not always out to get you.
Right.
No. And I think too on that topic is that demons get too much credit. They get way too much credit. Is there negative energy? Sure. Is there non-living energy that is benevolent or malevolent? Sure. Why not? But not as much as what people like to think.
Definitely.
Not everything is a demon.
Right.
No. Like, what if the dude was just an asshole in life? Now he's just an asshole in death.
Yeah.
And that happens too.
Yeah. I always tell people on our ghost hunt, serial killers die too, folks. You've got good people, bad people, and you've got spirits who are bored who like to say things for you to hear, malevolent, demon, etc. They're Beetlejuicing you because they know you're scared. They're trying to get a reaction out of you. Demons don't generally go, "Hi, I'm Dave. I'm a demon over here. Hi, my specialty is." It doesn't work like that.
And there is something true to that point too, because beyond being a paranormal investigator, a psychic, and a medium, when I lived in Los Angeles, my main gig was that I have been a celebrity impersonator. My three main celebrity impersonators that I played was Freddie Mercury. I was a little thin then. I played Freddie Mercury. I played Dr. Frankenfurter and Johnny Depp characters, Willy Wonka, Barnabas Collins, the Mad Hatter. And I would do celebrity parties and events for these things. Well, there was a steady gig that I had several years ago now, almost a decade or more, where I played Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka at a Tim Burton inspired bar and restaurant in Los Angeles. And the thing was, I was originally hired for their opening night to just walk around and take pictures and just be there. And then they realized soon that I had so much more that I could do. I actually started doing stand-up, and I started doing things as Willy Wonka. And I realized that I got bored. They wanted me to just walk around and take pictures, and that's so boring. So I would walk up behind someone who was not expecting me. They would be engrossed in food, or they'd be distracted in other ways, and I would walk up right outside of their periphery. And then I would go.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
And when they would turn their head and see me, they would go, ah! They would scream. Now, the ones that would go, oh, hello, Willy Wonka, I would be so bored. I'd be like, oh, hello, and then I would leave them alone. But the ones that would continually go, ah, ah, ah. I had one woman, I must have startled her 50 times over the course of an evening. 50 times. To the point where I even stood in front of her and I would go, and she would go,
those are the fun interactive times.
But spirits are the same way. Like, if you say, oh, hello, I see you there. How often are they going to try to jump up and say, hi, I'm Dave. I'm a demon. My powers are.
Yeah.
If you go, oh, right. Hello, Dave.
And,
I'm a demon. I see you. Okay. They're not.
If that were the case, then the movies would be so much shorter.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? I mean, they like sometimes
Exorcist, 2.5 minutes.
I'm a demon. All right.
Still be the piece or not?
Okay, look, I'm gonna call the priest then, and then credits. Ooh. Done, right?
Done. No pea soup.
What's up there, Thomas Patrick Gourlay?
I do think it's funny that with the whole calling it a demon. I was on Ghost Adventures, of course, and we were at the Los Feliz murder mansion, and this, to be honest, there was an actual entity that I would consider demonic, but not demon, but more along the lines of an ancient spirit whom had been attached, and I allowed this energy to come into my body so that I could see what was happening. And the funny thing was, it's this entity predates Christianity by a millennia. I mean, it's an old energy. And I do recall that when I had allowed this energy in, Zach Baggins said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I was like, the family was Jewish and the demon is pre-Christian. So like,
right. And Jesus was Jewish too. Just saying.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Like, I mean, how many different names throughout the millennia does a demon have? Like, sure. Yeah. So it's, I get it. And I enjoy it. It's a moneymaker thing for marketing and whatever. Oh, I see that side. However, people that are just new to this paranormal thing are interested. Just do your research and be careful. What you see on television is not what we do.
No, it is not. Well, and I think a lot of TV has made it so this or that, right? It's one or the other. And that is the farthest thing from the truth about non-human energies there could be. Because there's everything. It's like the afterlife of politicians, right? They agree on some things, they don't agree on others. Some still never been human, so our laws mean nothing to them, and people don't understand. I remind people, well, is human sacrifice okay? It isn't now, but it used to be.
Right.
Just putting it all in perspective for you.
And that whole black and white box that the television or YouTube or what have you has put out there is, what about interdimensional beings? That's not a spirit. That's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can only do 4 dimensions, and there's 12, 50, who knows?
At least.
Right.
So, that's not a demon. They're not even from this planet. So you can't.
The sunshine. The sunshine. Fifth dimensions.
Yeah. Oh no. I picked up on it immediately, and I was going to. I'm so glad that you did. Well played. So, what we are coming up on? Oh, this has gone quite fast for a podcast. This has been quite enjoyable. We're almost at the hour. We need to pay bills for everybody on here. So let's start with who we're gonna pick today to start. Jen, you pick somebody to start so we can pay some bills.
You start.
Okay. So check us out at supernaturalinc.paranormal.com. That's the team that I'm with, Katie Stafford and Katie Stafford. We make the ink box and a lot of other things that you see on, it used to be Discovery, but I guess now it's on History. And we make a lot of stuff for Jack Osborne. So if you check out his stuff, we make that equipment. We also have another branch, which is Paranormal Task Force X. Come check us out. We do a bunch of cool locations out in the Midwest, Cowtowns, Old West stuff. We have 2 events. We've got the Kansas City Aviation Museum coming up, and we also have the Old Cowtown coming up. So check it out on PTFX. You can follow it on all the socials. That's really all. Oh, and come check us out at which we're going to talk about in a minute. Anyway, the New Orleans Paracon, which is going to be August 31st through July 2nd. It's going to be a lot of interesting people. They will probably run low on hair product because there's going to be people there that know what we're doing. So get there early and get your hair product. Jenny, I hand it to you.
Well, Supernatural Ink builds for my team too. We've got 3 MCOMs between us, and I'm waiting for my ink box to come back in. But
I'm working on it.
New Orleans Paranormal Society, another sponsor. We do public ghost hunts here in the French Quarter. We take you to 2 haunted locations and teach you proper, not as seen on TV, techniques for spirit communication, and including a few you've probably never seen before. We love to play games, so check us out. And then we have the very out of the box sponsor, Neora Health Skin and Hair Products. So check those out. The links there. I use the Neora Fit System. It's a 3-step system of supplements that just have the added fantastic benefit of I lost 30 pounds taking them. So ladies and
you would never believe she's 125 years old.
Exactly. So check those out. But yeah, we're super excited about Paracon and everything coming up. I will tell you, and Brandon, you were there with us. We literally thought of it, called Ron Giacobetti and Lourdes Gonzalez, and in the course of what was it, 3 days, it was like, okay, we had this goal and we're gonna ask this person, and that never happened because it just went from Ron and Lourdes and these people and not giving all their friends. It just, our list went bye so quick. It's just, there's like you, Richard Leal. I wish we would have. It's just, but come see Patty anyway. She's gonna be here.
Patty's fabulous.
She's lovely. So, but you know what?
So is Zach. I also love Zach, even though he tried to rebuke in the name of Jesus. I love Zach, and he's not fake. He's quite real. Anyway, I had to say that just because
I would.
I will piggyback. I will piggyback on Richard Leal there, because you know what? Whatever you think, it's gone on 27 plus seasons. And do you know how many mom and pop locations that they put out there that all they get is people that pay to investigate, and that's how they keep the doors open? So yeah, it's goofy, it's silly, but it has done a lot for the paranormal community. So sit back and enjoy it. It is entertainment.
It is, and
it's real.
He pays. What people don't know is he pays dearly for the things that he does. That is what's never shown. And I've known 2 people that have worked behind the scenes with him that were in charge of trying to get the ick off of him. And the ick is not all off of him, and it won't ever be.
And is he over dramatic? Yes. The show is over dramatic.
They're film students.
but I will tell you from being on the show twice, everything they encounter, they will tell you the truth. They do not lie. They do not make up anything.
Yeah.
When they investigated me in Pasadena, yes, the table did move. That happens to me frequently. The whole tower would actually move. When they encountered the energy in her room via the image, yes, that was absolutely something that was there. I mean, 100%. And what I love too is that they really were so very professional. And Zach is one of my dear friends. I love Zach.
Yeah.
So I stand behind. I say that what from my experience, what I have seen, it is real. Is it dramatic? Yes, it is dramatic, but it is 100% real. They do not make up anything.
Right. And when you have the luxury that he does of having the team behind him to potentially help get rid of the consequences from opening the Dybbuk box, from touching Annabelle, the average Joe out there does not have that luxury. So he is in a position where he is trying to entertain, but he's also challenging you or the person telling you, oh, you say this happens if I do this? Okay. Right. And then let's see what happens. So I think that there's a lot of information to me. I've never met him, but from my perspective, I think there's a lot of background information that a lot of critics of that whole team, especially him, don't have or understand. For sure.
He to me was one of the most professional people I have worked with. He is so lovely to work with.
Yeah. And I tell a lot of people, like I was a drummer. I've been on tour. I've done the whole meet and greet thing. And I'll tell you, one person will tell you that I was the worst person they'd ever met. And then 5 minutes later, that person would say I was the greatest person, because we just got done with something, or we're doing something. Like if you meet somebody backstage, you don't know what's going on in their head. They just poured everything out. So what if they walk right past you for a second to go like, you know what? You can't judge people just on a whim.
Right.
And we do it a lot. I do it. I work on it. But,
I will tell you, yesterday, I have really lovely neighbors. I'm here in New Orleans. That is the one thing that I have loved about living in New Orleans, is that the people have been so welcoming and so wonderful and so kind to me. And I walked outside and I was sort of getting myself mentally prepared and doing what I needed to do. And I locked the door and I turn around and I see my neighbors on their porch. It's New Orleans, so we're all in shotgun houses, right?
Yeah.
And I see my neighbors. I go, oh, hi. And they said, well, we said hello and you didn't even notice us. And I went, I am so sorry. I didn't even hear you. I was just sort of in my own world, thinking about I've got filming things I've got to do. I've got some television shows that I'm working. I can't say I've got things that I'm working on, and I'm going through these things in my head. And I didn't even notice my neighbors who were sitting, just 6 feet over, maybe.
But speaking of being busy in a lot of projects, what do you got coming up next? Where can we find you? Where can we get in touch with you?
I'm really easy to find. I am known as the Gentleman Psychic. I have thegentlemanpsychic.com, though I will tell you, please do not send me emails. I ignore my emails. I never answer them because I get overwhelmed. Now, when I lived in Los Angeles, I had an assistant who did all of those things for me, but I live here and I do it all myself and I get overwhelmed. So do not email me. Find me on Instagram, find me on the medias of social, find me on YouTube, the Gentleman Psychic or Richard Lillard, or Richard Lael is easy to find. I'm so easy. I do seances here in my house. If you, I do card readings here too. Yes, I spend a little bit of time out in the French Quarter with the Vampire Empire with Marita Crandall. I love her; she's great.
I love
That,
it. Vampire
that
Empire.
gets me,
Very true.
that gets me out of the house. That is sort of my PR work, because if I didn't, I am the biggest recluse. I will not go anywhere. And people say, well, what do you do for fun? And I say, I drink tea and I live fabulously. I live deliciously. Why wouldn't I? But when people do come here, and I do offer that, it is, like I said, best to find me through the medias of social. But I do readings here in my house. I do seances here in my house. And what I like about it is, as you may or may not know, I'm an aficionado of the 19th century. So my home is a time capsule. It's easy to be the 1880s is really more where it is, but there are a few things that date to the early 20th century, a few lamps, but not very much more than that. It's really easy to just say 1890s. So I'm very much the late 19th century, and you'll come here and we'll have tea and we will talk about, whatever needs to be talked about.
That's amazing.
And maybe some dressing tips for the gentleman.
Well, it's really easy. Think about how do I make myself uncomfortable, and then do that.
That was the dress blues in the Marine Corps, and I guess that's why they looked so good, because I hated them.
Beauty is pain. Beauty is pain.
You just described every female's underpinnings.
Oh, it's so true. I used to, years ago, I'll tell you this, I used to do drag. I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you my former drag name, but I think I will tell you anyway. So she was a silent film star in my mind from the 20s.
Right.
And her name, I was thinking, well, I wanted to be, a little Egyptian and a little bit sort of, a little mystical. And so her name was, this is her name. Her name was Cleopatra Denial. You can still.
Oh, I should have had the drum roll lined up.
So you can find still online some old clips of her, but she was Cleopatra Denial. And I am telling you, there's a reason I do not do drag anymore. I don't have the wherewithal, the underpinnings, the underwire, the corsets, the heels, the makeup, the powders, the paints, the wigs. No, thank you. I am too old for that. No thanks.
I was going to say, I believe you work hard enough on the outfits of the day that you don't. That's just, yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
I told my mother, when my mother was alive, I told her, I said, the best part about doing drag, the best part about being a woman is taking it off.
There's a lot of truth, man. There's so much truth.
It's like, okay, I can relate. It's like taking a bulletproof vest off. For those of you who are not familiar, just think about a bulletproof vest. It's horrible. It sucks. Nobody wants it. It's hot. It makes you angry. And there you have it.
Again, you just described every underpinning women wear ever. It makes you hot. It makes you angry. Yes.
The corsets that pins and poke, and the underwires that grab, and it takes a lot.
I never understood why there were wires involved.
For support.
Support. I'd never had a wired jockstrap. Just saying.
Well, they also suck waist. You suck your waist in to help you keep the shape.
I've never had a jockstrap suck anything, so that was not probably.
Probably a good thing. Or is it? I don't know.
Depends on how much you pay for it, I guess.
I guess so. Where you get it.
And we are coming towards the end. Well, yeah, we got like 15 minutes. I told you it's going to be a train wreck, and I love it. So let's play a game. We got like 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
What kind of game? Jennifer, I'm gonna let you pick a game. Let's just play a game. This should be fun.
Ooh, I might have some
like
cards
20 questions, or we can do truth or dare, or would you rather? I figured.
Yeah. Yeah.
Richard Lale, would you be willing to play a little would you rather with us to
Sure, why not?
Podcast?
Let's do it.
So I happen to have some of those cards if you don't have any questions.
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you start it off? Because, I'm just going to go straight for the gullet. We just kind of need to gently get in before.
Well, we do this on our ghost hunts, especially with the Estes method. We play Would You Rather because you know what? No one says you have to be doom and gloom on a ghost hunt, right? You can have fun and laugh. Why not do human things again with them? And so we play games because plus
and besides, asking how did you die 150 times is
I know. Yeah. They're like, oh my God, these people again. Are you happy? I'm dead. That's the answer. Oh boy. Okay. This is
all right. I'll come up. I got one while you're looking.
Okay.
Would you rather live in California rent-free for the rest of your life, but you could never have New Orleans cuisine again? Or would you rather have a puppy?
California rent-free, never have New Orleans cuisine. Because I'm allergic to everything anyway, and which is why I've gained so much weight.
Well played. All right. That was a nice, gentle, that was an easy. Okay. Jennifer, you're up.
I understand the allergies. I don't know what the hell I'm allergic to today, but it's been killing me. Okay. Would you rather? I messed it up. Oh, here we go. Would you rather take 6 untrained dogs with you everywhere you go? Or tickle whoever's in front of you every time you're waiting in line for more than 1 minute?
I gotta say the dogs. I don't care if they're untrained. What's not to love with faces? I love them. And then I wouldn't have to touch strangers. I wouldn't have to touch strangers because, I do enough of that anyway.
I should have said untrained ugly dogs, but all right. Make it harder.
Is there such thing as an ugly dog?
No, they could be so ugly they're cute, probably is what.
There's an ugly dog contest, and they're so beautiful. I just love the little burberries.
Okay. Yeah.
Would you rather have a partner? Jesus, what did I just open?
I would rather have a partner. What would I open?
Would you rather have a partner drip hot wax on your skin or run an ice cube along your body? What the hell?
I like the hot wax.
Fair enough. Now I'm going to close out this browser. Okay. Richard, wait a minute. All hail, Richard Lale. There we go. See, I have to bring myself back. We're going to give you the final question of the evening. No holds barred. Pick your poison, either me or her.
Both of you. I want both of you. I'll ask a question. Okay. So, would you rather have $1 million in cash, tax-free, but you had to spend the rest of your life in North Korea? Or would you rather have, I don't know, chocolate cake anytime you wanted it?
I actually have an answer for this.
Okay.
I would rather live in North Korea.
Okay.
Because with $1 million, with $1 million US, and I'm already on the ground, plus I was special forces and I have friends, $1 million is plenty to take them down.
That is true. You would do quite well. You would do quite well. What about you, Jennifer?
Well, I don't have any of those skills, so I'll take the chocolate cake.
I don't have those
I
skills.
would not last like
I
a
wouldn't
minute.
last. I wouldn't last either. I really wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't.
No,
To worship the leader, I couldn't do that. I couldn't.
no.
So I think
Yeah. Now, if we widened it to I had to like live under the regime and I couldn't go over there and like wipe it out, then I would have chocolate cake.
See, I mean, chocolate cake makes the world go round. I'm so
It makes
horribly
me go
allergic
round.
to it, and well, it makes me round too. But I'm allergic to it. But I love it.
It is delicious. I have, you know what? I have enjoyed this podcast. You are a genuine individual, which always piques my interest because there are a lot of fakes and a lot of haters in our world, and we need more genuine people like you, good sir. So I want to thank you for coming on, and I humbly thank you for all of your wisdom that you've given during the show. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
And I cannot wait to meet you in person, my neighbor. So we will do that soon.
We will. I'll have you over for tea
There you
because
go.
again, I'm a recluse, and you can come see my magical little mystical world.
We can be hermits together. How's that?
So great.
So
I'm a hermit.
everybody that tune in next week for episode 3, who our guest will be another person that I can't remember right now, but just
It is
always,
going to be
who is
Papa
it?
Czar. Papa Czar.
Papa Czar. I do like Papa Czar.
Czar. We are going to play probably stupid vampire questions with him because he's fabulous for that.
And
He likes
always remember, guys, when you're out there dealing with people, the most important thing in life that you always have to remember is, well, hang on, let me figure this out. But, you know,